Hello. Welcome to the second live stream in a couple of days, which is very unusual for me, and it would appear that I've actually worked out how to work my streaming software, which, by my very low standards of technology, I'm quite happy with. So I guess the first thing really to do is to say the 24 hours have passed. There is no more buff. I've still got the buff on settlement, but the 24-hour buff has gone. So, where are the leaderboards? As per the norm, I am just behind Raven. Scots has climbed up well this morning, though, to be fair to him. Scots has not been very well, apparently, which is his excuse for finishing behind us. But, yeah, he's doing all right. So he's up into third. As you can see, we are playing as Kilt this season. It is Dobie. It's a mixed with Only and some Doom and everyone else from the past, because we have merged this season, in particular with Only. So lots of big farmers in this. So we now have the top four. Mr. Donut from Ibis. I believe this guy is actually a bit of a kraken from what I've heard. There are two Mr. Donuts. One of these is a genuine close to Raven level account. So I look forward to seeing that throughout the season. I'm slowly getting down the leaderboard, and someone there asking about how the farming's doing, which has done really well, to be fair. So we've got some more Kilt here. We've got a little bit of Honk, who are going to be our teammates for this season. And we're looking forward to some fights. You've got the old Kaifut account of Funk, who is not Funk, from Odin. That's Bank or Debt, the old lot. Then you got some more Kilt. And a little bit more Ibis. A little bit of Echo as well, that's nice. There you go. I mean, we always have a go about not getting into the top 100, let alone top 50. But, 21st. Not too bad. Hello. I am hazarding a guess that ski there is probably my daughter. If so, good to see you on, and love you very much. It is. Shouldn't you be doing some homework or something? But yeah, there you go. So we'll go stroll through the top 50. This is not me, by the way. This is another strong account that I know of from Odin Old Bank. This guy's quite a nice guy as well, to be fair. There's another Mr. Donut there, so there's quite a few of those. There's a little bit of Arta mixed in there, so what we'll probably do is we're going to look at the merit board, just because some people have clearly already started fighting a little tiny bit between themselves. And I hope that is actually power. Because it'd be nice to see them again. So this is the Fellowship Production leaderboard. Kilt, which is us, is quite far ahead of everyone else at the moment. Hunk, who are a Kingdom partner, are also in 5 streams. So 5 streams is getting eaten up pretty quick, to be honest, with nearly 600k. Then you've got Odin at 250, Ibis 240, Avalon, who I think are in Dartlands. I'm glad it tells me to the side. Another 200k. So Dartlands looks like it's got a couple of fellowships. Iron Hills is where Ibis are, so that'll be interesting. Who else is in Enedwath? Oh, Spada in Enedwath as well, so a couple of fellowships in Enedwath. Could be quite interesting when all the kingdoms are formed, to be honest. I hope this is power, as in who it was before. Because they used to be alright. Although I think there's less of them now. There's a dreaded Elves Fellowship here. That we won't talk about Elves, because I'm getting a lot of stick for using them. And then we'll have a quick look at the Commanders board. This guy's actually been top of the levels all the way through. So, to see a Galadriel, I wonder if he's got his gear on there. Yeah, what I quite like about this is you can check out what gear it is. I mean, if this guy hasn't listened to Vessi in the last year, I don't know who has. So, yeah, pretty nice Galadriel, to be fair. Nice Gimli, too. Z5 Gimli. Z10 Galadriel. And I rate this, a man using a Falcon with a really well-refined unique. This is what I was saying about Falcon. This kind of adventurous determination is an amazing skill. So I can see why he's doing so well. I presume he's using dwarves. But I rate that. I've considered raising my Falcon. Ascending to repent for my elf sins. So naturally Raven comes next. His shadow's absolutely disgusting. He's trying to use this Black Numenorian skill a little bit more. So now that you're getting more points, you can kind of look into this a lot more. And this extra focus damage is pretty sick and disgusting, to be fair. So I'll be interested to see how this works in PvP, mainly because you're going to hit a lot of guilds and a lot of White Council with a lot of this skill set of Warcry. But looking forward to see how that works. We've then got Mr. Donut. Let's have a look if this is the whale, Mr. Donut. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, Scal user. Okay, interesting. Skyhound's a commander I can't really get on with. I sort of dropped her after, while farming. She's only level 18 compared to all my others just because I just couldn't get on with her. She loses too many troops, so doesn't do enough damage. So, that's that. Really nice looking Dane. Is this the other Mr. Donut? Who looks... This is probably the more whaley one, I'm guessing. This is a Zenith 11 Gandalf the White. A Z6 Dane. Yeah, this guy's the whaley one. Well, Kraken one anyway. The other guy's impressive too. And a Respect 15 Bjorn. Very nice. We've got some gills creeping in, as you'd expect, in this sort of early season farming as well. You'll see a lot more gills. There's a lot more shadows. What I will say about this leaderboard at the moment, and I know this isn't a PvP leaderboard, but it's nice to see some different commanders in here for once. You know, like we've actually got a bard in here as well, which is nice. And I do think as things have changed, you will see a lot more of different commanders strolling through these boards, and you'll see a lot more Saruman's in particular. But be interesting to see how it goes from PvP. Because I think you will see a lot of different commanders this season, or at least I hope so. So we'll go into, while we're walking, the problem that we have at the moment is they've slowed the game quite significantly now in comparison to where it was even before for the first day. So whereas you'd be looking at sort of a 10k plus decent start, I would probably say around an 8 to 9k is actually now pretty good with the changes to the weaponry. So we've kind of been farming with 3 or 4 different formations. I don't own a 200 yet. I'm being lazy and using everyone else's 200s for getting resources from and letting them spend the troops, which is a horrible thing to say, but that's what I'm doing. So I've got 28 150s, 20 130s, I've got 26 90s, and I think I've just got 160 left, which I'll be dropping now to try and take another 150. My issue is, from a resource perspective, I've just done main hall 7, which literally killed me. And I'm just trying to save up to get through the chapter to unlock more tiles. But the issue is I have pretty much no troops. So I'm actually having to speed these up as I go along and use them. So yeah, Raven is literally like the farming god / PvP god of our fellowship. So I mean, I'm okay with this kind of report. Law, you're very welcome to become Hermione. We're looking forward to Law hopefully joining us very soon through the village system or through the server system with his big old Kraken self flying around. Although you'll be happy to know, Law, last night I did make my Gimli a Z level. Not quite at your level, but I did I did get him to a Z last night. This was to repent for my elf sins lore. So as you'll see, I've been using elves for an elf start. And I'm going to say it's been fairly successful. But my problem with it is that normally going into the last 24 hours, I do just about sneak past Raven, which I haven't done. So, I kind of feel like the elves have failed me a little bit, but it's been good. I think it's probably helped my start because I've been able to use the evasion from the troops and sadly use Gil, who has got 140 stamina. Stamina-wise, we've still got loads, which is crazy really to think of, but using this early on when you've only got one weapon or one item of equipment, it's quite a powerful skill. So I know the evade's good anyway, but yeah, using it early, you kind of have to get skills that add either defense or some evade to your formation. My Undying's not really worth anything to anyone. It's sort of 5 points into Undead Commander because he's R1. No, I'm not saying be surprised I invested into a dwarf. I wasn't actually going to do it, but I felt that because I've been using Gil so much for the first half of the season, I kind of had to do something dwarfy. So I sort of did Gimli up. My next thing is if I use dwarves for another 2 days. Sorry, if I use elves for another 2 days, I am probably going to have to ascend Falgin just to repent for my sins again, I think. Which I can just about do by then by using the market, and I'll have another 100 tier 2 vouchers. So I've got to save 48 of my vouchers for... I won't be using elves for too much longer, I promise. So I've got to use 48 of my vouchers to get Saruman to respect 10, and then I've got about 40. I think I've got about 58 left over from the Ascension system that they've put in. So I'm quite happy with where I am. I basically use the Ascension thing to get the 100 items out of Gimli to then put them into Gimli and put 100 random ones in. Trying to build Lego up a little bit as well, although I haven't used him yet, but I'm going to try and ascend Lego, I think, when I eventually get around to it. One thing that's pretty good, if I actually had any troops to do it, is level 10 mobs. I don't know if people know this or not, but level 10 mobs on these servers now, I don't know if this is just new or whether I've kind of been told it today, so I don't know if it's new or not. Drop 10k wood or grain tips. So I've got 2 this morning already. So yeah, it's quite interesting actually to sort of, it's harder now definitely than what it was. And like I say, when you've got Raven who's only at 9.3, I mean he's got a lot of 200s I think already, to be honest, but Raven's only at 9.3, so I would expect at this stage Raven's probably normally at about 13, 14k, I would guess. So it's definitely slower with the new mechanics. And I don't know how I feel about the past mechanics as well. So server progress 4 is completed. You can get towards the center. But if we were... This is where, again, it's kind of a bit confusing. So you can only go through Minas Morgul of server progress 6, which is miles before you can go before the 2 kingdoms. But if you really wanted to go in after 4, you'd just go through here anyway. So you may as well have just made that 4 as well, because if people are going to want to go through to the centre and then go into here, they're going to do it anyway. So I don't really get why they've locked the ones in between kingdom to 6 days. Like that. Sorry, 6, progress 6. I don't get really why they've done it. I mean, it's going to slow you by 12 hours if you want to do it. So I don't... They may as well just put them both at server progress 4 for me. Benjamin, you well? Nice to see you not doing a lot on a Saturday. Ben is someone I work with. I use the term work loosely because he doesn't do a great deal. I keep trying to get Ben back into the game. He did play for a while. But I think from memory he got told off because he was constantly always looking at his phone. He'll probably confirm or deny that if he's still on. Yeah, I thought so. Hello. So yeah, so it is definitely a lot slower. So we're at the point now where tiles are kind of a 10 to 15 minute march away. So I can't even fill a march anymore, which is slightly problematic. So I'm slowly ticking down what I've got left. I've got a lot of tiles pinned. I wish I knew how to play on meetings. So these kind of level 10 mobs, I'm just using these just to get a little bit of grain and hopefully get the tip. Which I don't think I've got. Oh, maybe I have. There you go. Perfect example. So another 10k wood, which at the moment when I'm short on resources is very handy. Yeah, so it is a lot slower. So we've got a load of 150s pinned, which is what we're currently looking through. But the problem is the march times are just disgusting nearly now. So there are a few 150s near the settlement that I keep resetting with one unit armies, but I don't really feel like I want to hit anything with a counter still. So I think these are all counter tiles and I need to reset them again, really. I'd probably get away with that. I actually don't like hitting Zegrid. This skill here is horrible. I mean, I don't really use mounted units, thankfully, but like that hit's horrible. And also, the tiles that have got Malphasaron on with this are actually doing a lot of damage. See, I don't mind hitting trolls as long as I've got the counter, but I prefer the other counter. So I don't know if I've got a tile here that does it. So with trolls, I don't think that's bad, really. I've been using Witch King as another tank because I needed another tank. So yeah, he's doing a little bit of damage, but he's pretty much high command and debuffing. Where's one where I've hit with the counter? There you go. So I prefer this kind of tile because I'm using the one unit to get the counter from the 2 damage dealers. But I do feel, from a protection point of view of what I'm losing, hitting trolls isn't too bad. I mean, that's probably just a little bit easier tile, but I do think Clairvoyance is now an absolute must. I can't say as I've ever used it before this season, but I will be using it continuously, I think. So let's see if I can find a pinned 150 somewhere. This is yet again miles away, so we've been looking for tiles like this, really. Anything with an Arwen and a Frodo and Sam on, pretty much easy to go through. So, and what we're doing, I'll just set off first. Remove the pen. So that's a 25-minute march. I mean, it's just disgusting times at the minute. But what I'm doing is rotating in 2 damage comms and 2 sort of support comms. So I've got Witch King playing as a tank, Gandalf playing as basically White Council and White Rider. I've actually found a lot of use for Gandalf the Grey as well. I think he's sort of White Council / his actual heal's quite good. I don't know if I can find a tile that's that I've hit with him recently, because I think it would have been this morning. So let's see if I've got one from, as you say, I'm scouting so many tiles. These tiles are nice as well to hit. Where did I hit that? There. So that's quite nice. They're quite a nice tile to hit. Anything that's got any of the elf brothers in is pretty good. Where was I using Gandalf? Probably somewhere down here, I'd guess. Yeah, so in fairness to Gandalf the Grey, with the heal full, I mean, it's not masses of heal, but I suppose there's only 1200 there, probably because he's tried to heal one of the single units. But when he's not healing the single unit, because I'm only putting one unit on the damage dealers, his heal's actually quite nice. If I'm fine one where he's got quite a nice heal, 0. Bad example of how good the heal is. So, have we got anything in here? Wow, 0. Right, okay, I take it all back. Gandalf's heal's terrible. I've definitely found 4 or 5 reports where it's actually been quite decent, but apparently not. Jesus. No idea what's going on there. I'll have to look into some others and try and get some reports where the heal actually works. Otherwise, it just feels like I'm just wasting points. I might actually just try and use him for troop damage then for a couple of tiles and see if that actually improves anything. So let's get rid of the heal. We'll fill White Council. And we'll go full Mithrandir and get the dual blows in there. So we'll see what happens and see if we can change it around. I mean, I could put a little bit of heal in there, but I don't. I suppose it's modified by focus, so I'll put a couple of points in the heal. See what happens. You haven't got a great deal of choice now in not using clairvoyance, honestly, because trying to get through the first day was horrendous. Without clairvoyance, I would probably be on about 8k. It's alright for you saying blind YOLO is the best thing. You've got one of the biggest accounts in the game with all the gear pieces in the world you can think of. You can blind YOLO all you like. However, some of us who are slightly lower level have to work out what they're going to do. This is the problem. No more blind YOLO. I used to enjoy that, to be fair. I used to be able to just bounce around 150s one after the other, but this is a nice tile to hit as well again, because the Theoden, even though he's using plus 30%, I mean, it's cave troll damage, so there isn't really a great deal of damage coming back at you. And then there's no mounted units, so it's more wasted points. Celeborn, bless him, these days is literally useless. We've got someone in our fellowship who's got a Z2, I think, Celeborn. Or Z1 Celeborn, and he tried asking me the other day if it was worth raising him to Z2 to make him more playable, and sadly I may have mentioned something about him snuggling up with Galadriel was probably a better use of his time than trying to use an R4 skill. So defense and attack 4 allied formations plus 10. I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's just done a little bit to the trolls for a defense point of view, but their defense is pretty low anyway. There's no elves and there's no march wardens, so that's 10 points wasted, and there's no elves again, so all his points are wasted in this. Frodo and Sam, I would guess, probably got the wrong trees as well. Yeah, so they've got the attack and they've got this, I guess, which makes them a bit tanky, so you might get a really slow draw, but this is probably one of the better tiles to hit. Grey Company's not a bad skill, but that should be quite simple, particularly if I go in with the counter. So I think at this point, so buildings wise, I don't know how I feel about this either, this new method of stuff. I mean, I've been a bit lazy here and I probably should do this up a little bit more. I'm terrible at keeping the tributes up because I just try and go straight through the chapter progressions rather than anything else. So I'm just going to have to keep trying to raise resources to get this. So I think I'm nearly through the chapter then. And I could do the resources on the back of it, really. And the 5 extra tiles. It used to be nice when they used to give you sort of 10 tiles for some of the chapters. But again, slowed the game down slightly. So where was... so that's all we've got left. So we probably need another hour or so. Maybe a little bit more than an hour and we'll be through chapter 17, which isn't too bad. I'm going to need some troops before then, so you have to make some up. I am using the Gil avatar because I am currently being an elf. as my punishment. I have been impressed. I will say I have been impressed with what Gil does for a formation in PvE. I don't think I'm going to be as impressed with PvP. And even though I did my video on Undying the other day, which I still stand by, I still think he's a bit of a messy commander. I have seen people getting great results from his round 5 heal. So I kind of do get why people use him, but he's not for me. So I've seen people using him with the evade and with second wind and getting this really nice heal in round 5, praying that the fight finishes in round 6. But I've also seen some reports where the fight's finished in round 4, making it completely pointless. So, yeah, interesting, to say the least. So it's literally long marches now. Commander level wise, we've got pretty much everyone around the same. So we've got some 26. We've got quite a lot of stamina on everything though. Waiting to do some 200s later. It's a shame the unique's in our level 30 because otherwise I think I'd be way ahead of where I am if it was level 20. So Scalhelm's stamina's full. I just stopped using her because she was just doing my head in. The results I was getting with her were terrible. I don't know if it's because of the way I built her, but what I was getting from her was awful. But yeah, I'm impressed with the old Shadow these days though. So I've got plenty of stamina knocking around, but Saruman's been good. Again, unsure if I've probably gone for the right build. I probably need to change this at some stage. I think probably 6 points here and 10 points there would probably be a better way of doing the build. So I get more of a burst in round 3 with the extra damage than just looking at 5 rounds of 150%. I don't know. Maybe that's probably better at this stage. But I do like this, so looking forward to having his unique and getting him respect 10 soon. It's just I'm waiting for the market to reset on vouchers and things. So, but I have been impressed with Witch King. He's been a really, really good tank who's doing sort of 17, 18k damage as well while tanking. So I can't really complain about that. Where was I with this? So we've got another 16 minutes till we hit the tile. I don't think much has changed in the leaderboard. We'll be close to Raven at that point, which I'll be fairly happy with. Don't think anyone's gone up another level. So Ibis again's on level 31. I would suspect this guy's hitting 200s pretty exclusively. I mean, that's crazy, really. It must just be the fact that he's just doing 200s and nothing else with one formation. Which is interesting. A lot of rings, though. Look at that. Look at that. Looks like Ibis has been doing well. I think I've played Ibis before. I think they were pretty good. So we went through... Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. So the season, chapter 1, 64,928 tiles were taken. Which, again, I think is pretty reasonable. Is that what you think he's doing, Scott? Sweeping, overtaking tiles? Yeah, I think Ibis are good. I just find it interesting that his main formation's at 30s and nothing else around. He's only at 4k power, so... I don't know. Different ways of doing stuff, I suppose. In Search of Power may not get complete, although it probably will. In fact, no, I don't think it will. I don't think this will actually get completed. So we shall see if that unlocks. So they're all timed now anyway, so it doesn't really matter so much. I suspect this will get completed pretty much straight away. Oh, Laura, if you're still on, by the way, I don't know if you knew this or not, but this is going to make you slightly upset or happy. I don't know how you want to look at it, but there is now 3 gear chests in the season at chapters 5, 7, and 9. But they have different equipments in, and I'm guessing they're going to have a 200 Maven restriction, would be my guess. Yeah, exactly. But there is... it's like they've separated out certain things. So you've got the Axe of Khazad-dûm in one, and not a massive amount of other stuff. I guess is pretty useful. And then in the next one, probably the third one is the best one, I would say. But the next one is, again, Obsidian. It's sort of mixed bag, High Vorburg. They've tried basically to split the DD stuff out, I would say. And this is probably the one that's the best one, because you can still get stuff like a Reckoning, but there's the Palantir and the drums in there, while still being able to get Cask. You could get Chieftain's Gaze, Berserker's Raiment during his play. So I would say this is definitely the best one of the three from Chapter 9. So probably worth saving Mavens for, I reckon. I think it gives all purples, but from a gold point of view, I love how they keep putting the Estacada in here. Yeah, they all have 6.5% drop rate, yeah. Yeah, so I think the one in Chapter 9 is the def one, but the best one, but it is 6.5%, yeah. There's also some Mithril drops in there at 3%, which is a bit random, but... thank you, Jogo Dotter. I do try. I am pretty erratic with content, and I get it's probably a little bit off the wall sometimes. Yes, Law, you are going broke. I can't wait. So you're on season 4, 0491, third day. My guildmate asked, is Saruman better than Sistaro? That's a tricky question. I actually think, what respect level of both for a starter? I actually think now Saruman is probably better than Sistaro. I get Sistaro with his unique is good, but so Saruman with his unique is also pretty impressive. So I actually think Saruman's probably now gone into the top 5 commanders in the game, personally. I don't really like to say too many suggestions, but just because of his abilities that he's got. Gale is definitely not the best. Just because of his abilities he's got to now strip White Council so fast with this Head of the White Council skill. Plus it's increasing your damage. Sharky does have its uses, but if you can even get a point in it, I think Respect 13 for Saruman's pretty good. If you get a point in it and get a little bit of command in there, it's quite nice. Whereas Sistaro, I don't really have a Sistaro, but I've seen some pretty high profile ones, which are quite nice. But I know all his skills are good, so that's decent. I mean, the heal's a bit of a meh one in round 7, but at least it's affected by focus, so at least it maxes with his kit, to be fair. Legolas, the Elven Dwarf, is the best. I mean, Nazgul's always a great skill anyway, because you can miss White Council with it. So, again, good. But Lord of the West, also good. I mean, it also, again, suppose Counter Shadow, which I think will go for the meta. I would say they're quite close, but for me, Saruman probably just edges it. But Lord of the West is a really good skill. With his whole cannot initiate normal attacks for himself, but it's a good skill. So I think it's close. His unique's good. This obviously stacks and decent refine. It's really good. Kind of like Dane's version of just with a smaller chance, but then a more percentage. So I still think it's Saruman for me, though. After that weird little kind of 5-minute rant there. The only elf that's ever any decent, I think, is the Dwarven elf Legolas. And I really like the fact that Legolas now does some stuff which with his 3 damage skills. But I really like Greenleaf's max effect, because this targets next 1 instance of damage minus 20%. And with the round it goes off on, so it's at the start of round 4, that can have a massive impact on Bjorn. Thanks, Benj. I didn't know you were still listening, Ben. Shouldn't you be, like, family weekend stuff. Witch King still marching 7 miles to a tile. What was this? Oh, we're definitely hitting that after. That's a really nice tile. Mounted units. Mounted units. Damage, I suppose. A little bit of protection. And everyone knows Arwen's terrible now, so... I don't think you've heard that from me, that Howdy with blue equipment's out damages Dame with golds. But if you've heard that somewhere, it may have been in someone else's tier list, possibly, who could rename nameless. But I haven't even looked at Howdy's kit recently. I don't know if he's changed after PBE. That's quite lazy of me, to be honest. But where is he? Just above Lego, isn't he? What's he actually got now? I mean, it's a fairly respectable damage skill. Don't know why you'd... Them pretty lame. Oh yeah, you've made me go and look at Howdy. This is your own fault. Right, don't get me started on Ori, because genuinely, I actually like Ori. We're going to go into Ori after this. We're waiting for this tile. Jonas, good to see you. Jonas is on the server. He seems a pretty cool guy. So defensive elves, great, happy days. Everyone loves defensive elves because they need it because they're so squishy. I mean, that's kind of like a unique skill. Yeah, get yourself a Z Ori, definitely. Honestly, I reckon it could work. We're going to go into Ori after this, right? I've genuinely gone a bit mad and thought Ori could work. So, I mean, that's an alright skill. And then Galadrim's still attack of ranged units, so Howdy's pretty lame still, unfortunately. I think he would still probably get the axe through the face treatment. Yeah, Zori like it. Not to be confused with Zorro. So let's go to Ori. Why not? We can embrace the name Zori, yeah. So just hear me out, right? I'm actually on LG player, which I think is probably the best one at the minute to play this on, because it's actually quicker than, like, if you play on BlueStacks was horrible, so I kind of stopped playing on BlueStacks and went to LG player. In truth, I don't actually know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but I've said it now, so let's hope no one checks. So let's start at the beginning with Ori, right? Or Zori, as he now is. The best damage skill in the game. Happy days. Tier 1 commander. Really easy to level up. His R5 allows you to do kind of like, you know, it's like a little bit of Isildur skill kind of thing, but for dwarves. Only in his formation, though. Let's not go, you know, and it does decrease. But it's increased by his defense stat. I'm guessing that's his defense stat, not unit defense. So something like, I don't know, Erebor's Pride, Defender of the Mountain, pretty useful. He's giving you plus 10% to units. I mean, you know, it's a respectable skill tree. If this hits the right commander, it's fairly useful. If not, you get a little bit extra in Musician. Modified by command, build him as a bit of a tank. Don't get me wrong, kit's messy, but it's about as messy as Undying's kit that everyone seems to love. So I don't know. For me, I think there's a place for it. Axe of the Clerk. I mean, are you ever likely to build him? Are you ever likely to build him with axe throwers? And are you ever likely to do that from round 4 onwards? I'm not sure, but I don't know. There's definitely something that you could at least remotely do at Z level. I mean, what is Z1? Is Z1... Z1's how many points now? Shadow Z1, and so let's see what I can do with skills. In fact, I won't know that yet. You can get nearly 3.5 skill trees for, can't you, with Z1, I think? 3 and 1, something like I'm terrible with points now. They've changed it all. You fill free skill trees though. You could definitely give him something like that, and get a little bit in there to clear some white council. Honestly, I rate it. I think there's a place for him somewhere to troll people with. Is it possible to insert Brazilian or Portuguese subtitles in your videos? YouTube simultaneous translation is poor. You would be surprised at how many Brazilians still play Lord of the Rings: Rise of the War. I'm pleased people are still playing the game. I think some people are coming back to the game at the moment, so that's nice. If I wasn't such a terrible tech person, if anyone can tell me how to put the subtitles in, yes, I will put the subtitles in. Whether they'll be much use to you because of the colloquialisms that I use from time to time, I'm not so sure. But we've nearly got all the way to that tile, which is quite nice. Quack and good morning, Riv. How are you this morning? Hello, you alright? Where are we there? So we've got 2 hours left on that. We still need some resources for this. So that's going to take a long time. I feel like everything now takes a long time. Good to know Riv's wonderful, because if Riv's not happy, the whole place isn't good. Where are you now, Riv? You're still 20th. You've kind of dropped down a bit. Main 7's killed me, though, because I haven't built troops for about 14 hours. So Riv's still holding on to the top 20. I think he was second for a while. But then he did spend... Was it 8 hours you spent trying to take the 200, Riv? Riv is Stephen John, by the way. He owns, in my opinion, one of the greatest names in the game. I mean, that is a great name. And it starts well with Destroyer of the Elves. We'll ignore the Mangler of the Dwarves, but the Eviscerator of Hobbits. He is he's doing good. Hey, fellow. Nice to see you here. Are you out of season yet? Nearly, I think. You're going to really like the changes, I promise you, to what they've done to slowing the game down. As even Raven's only on 9,500 production after nearly a day and a half. So prepare yourself to have fun on the first day. Everyone likes Chucker. So we're nearly, very, very nearly at the 150 that we've marked out. 4 hours away, it felt like, of the march. We should probably be sweeping, but I don't even feel like I've got the troops anymore to sweep. Where's Aragon? He's there. So I've literally got enough to do 2 more sweeps. I wouldn't worry about being less than 2k yet. To be perfectly honest, the game's that much slower now. And I know they've locked the passes, but yeah, it's a slow grind now. So we need a few more of these just for scouting and things. So I'm putting 1 troop on the DDs. What we've done, just for anyone who's new that's joined, is we are playing it as 230 or Happy Days. Oh, I wonder what tip of the day was. Let's go back to that. I'm intrigued to know what tip of the day was, if I could ever find it. It could be anything. There we go. Use 10 mobs, get 10k resources. Great tip, to be fair. What was I doing? Yeah, that was it. So what we're doing here is we are filling up the 2 support comms or tanks or whatever you want to call them full with tier 2s. And using tier 1 elves to take a little bit of evasion, which is quite handy, and just really just so that we're using the commander health to take the tiles down, which is quite nice. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the first time we've started in the Land of the 5 streams, and it's not the first time that I felt that I've had the same problem. I mean, the clue's in the name. It is the land of the five streams. I'm quite lucky because only this much of my range was actually taken by mountains. Like, I know some people have started here, and 3/4 of the range is horrendous. Some people though have had some good stuff and sort of started in Horondor, so there is a plan. I don't think this is me stepping out of line, but if it is, then fair enough. There's a plan, really roguely, that we might try and take this tonight, which I think is physically impossible. Yeah, over this side's horrible, Riv. If you're over here, I can see why it's a bit slowed down, because it's just disgusting. But whenever I start, I seem to always start either sort of here or here if ever I start in Gondor, so it might just be around start time, I guess. So we'll probably mark out another 150 somewhere and go, we need to start burning other people's stamina. We've got so much stamina. Who needs to come down slightly? Dane's alright for a bit. We definitely need to use Shadow. We'll go for Shadow. We'll probably leave Witch King in. Mainly because I can't be bothered to switch gear. So... and we'll probably switch Gandalf the Grey back in, maybe. Gil must be quite high in stamina now. I'm going to have to use the elf. Unreal. I didn't know you could re-roll your spawn at the start. How'd you do that? Let's change formation. Like you say, I haven't actually even got enough to fill an army. What, for the main hall you can redo your form? You can redo your start. That's well good. I did not know you could do that. See, you learn something new every day. So we're gonna have to put in Shadow. Who else needs? I quite like how they've got the stamina across the bottom now. Gale's gonna have to come in, whether I like it or not. I say that like it's a bad thing. It's actually been doing really well for me. I didn't know you could do that. So that's okay. So TE and King of Men you can do it, but not somewhere else. Oh yeah, you lose tiles. Okay. Yeah. You know me, I don't like losing tiles. But it's probably worth it if you spawn by Raven, because otherwise there's going to be no tiles anyway. I need to change equipment, otherwise we're just staring at this formation, which isn't ideal. So we're going to use Gil as a tank again. I haven't really got a tank helmet, so he gets this lovely call with a lot of command and some focus, which obviously he loves. It does have so many instructions and walkthroughs of how it works, but I just don't think anyone actually looks at them. Mainly because they just have Gandalf pop up from the corner saying hello really randomly. Yeah, that's fair, doing it right at the start. I suppose you won't lose anything. I think if you go a bit further down the line, it's probably a bit more problematic. Let's give him this set here, because it's got more focus. I don't really know why I'm using the chess piece that's for unit defense when I'm not doing unit defense either. That's probably really bad practice, but I use it more for the HP than anything else, because I get more HP from that than I do for this from 15 attack on top, and I get to keep the set effect. I don't think that's likely to happen anytime soon, Riv. If it does, though, at least I know it's come from you. We'll leave Gimli in for another go. So we're looking for something here that's probably got trolls, I would guess, more than anything else. See what we've got flying around. What's this? So we've used clairvoyance on everything. I can switch. That tile's alright. So we'll use the unit counter. So I will save those two. I accidentally built some tier 2 cav, which was a bit silly because it was a bit of an extra resource just for killing them off one by one. God, no. How far away is this tile? Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, let's up this. So max this out because we've got pretty much full on these. Those green men in my formation are elves, and I have had to repent for my sins. As I keep telling people, last night I raised Gimli to Z1 just to repent for the fact that I was using elves. I apologise for using elves. Has it worked out alright? Yes, it has. Does it pain me to say it? Yes, it does. However, I have been using elves. They are squishy though once people start hitting them. I'll say that for free. What was this? Try to do something a bit closer. I don't really like that tile. And I haven't really got the troops to not sort of die, so. I just shudder to think what that might be. Particularly after the cold that you've had. I don't really want to march 18 minutes. You know what? Gil will take down the other tile. Why not? Let's go. Get rid of something here. I think we're nearly dropping 90s as well, which is completely disastrous. We are now into the realms of dropping 90s, which is criminal. But there isn't really much choice in it at this stage. So, how close are we to this now? Still miles away from completing the chapter. I don't think I've got any ring points. If they didn't have the evade, though, they would be pretty useless troops, wouldn't they? If we're being honest. Because once you start hitting them, they die genuinely quickly. Where do you get more at level 30? So, when's ring level 30? That's a long, long way away as well. So they've really slowed the game down now. At ring level 30, I'll probably reset my ring a little bit again and go into this XP tree. I do think, though, Evil needs something that's got like a, I don't know, keen eye skill as a troop. That'd be pretty cool. How do you think the Angmar start is? I mean, for you, it's alright with your battle LOTR. That's why you spent 8 hours on that 200. I am looking forward to seeing you use LOTR, though. As I do genuinely think there is a use. Emphasis on the word trying. How long we got to the tile drops? 3 minutes 16. What's the march time? I expect we'll get a few more losses than normal on this. Just because this isn't the kind of tile that I'd normally take on. Mainly because whenever I've hit Zegrid before, he actually hits pretty hard. And also, Black Numenorian also hits pretty hard. This is actually a really stupid idea. And then, Kamal's also got a little bit of Ring Wraith. And pretty heavy focus skill. So this is a true test of how stupid it is to do it. Snagger Frax, nice. They've got a really good sort of damage setup. It'd be interesting to know if you can get something to work with Snaggers and troop damage. I haven't started a new account recently. I've heard people say that it's very different because I think you can only play good side, can't you, for the first season. I think it would be quite a fun video. Yeah, I haven't had the time to do it. We've sort of trying to do all those commander guide type things recently. It's kind of killed a lot of my time off. I actually don't know if I'll take this tile. This would be a good sort of test to see if Gil is actually good at doing it. Yeah. I saw the relic thing. Yeah, that's true. I did get a message back from customer service about my relics, actually. It wasn't favourable. But it wasn't a no either. So, worth keeping an eye on. Can we gather yet? Once. Fantastic. So, what is the most we need to gather at the moment? Bear in mind we've got no troops and need them very soon. We need to unlock this. So stone will look after itself. I think ore's my lowest one, so we probably need to sort of gather from that 200 ore, I would say, which should be this one here. I think it's a really good feature that they allowed people to gather off other people's tiles. I didn't get that message about the technical capability. I got my feedback, not to say too much, but my feedback had been noted. Oh, what? Where's the 230? God damn it. You could have put that before I pressed it. It's too late. Scott's done it. The 10-second delay has done me in. Never mind. It's okay. Yeah, you did. All right, fair. Yeah, so I got a message that said it can do it. They may not necessarily want to, but it can be done. I swear whenever I stream and you lot are on, I always make mistakes. It's like you distract me somewhat. But yeah, I didn't get a no from the customer service department. I just got your feedback's been noted, because I basically said that, not going too far into it, but I went down the route of, because of the way the Ascension worked, because I'd already reset my relics once. So because of the way the Ascension system worked, and you could sort of de-ascend the relic and get your equipment back, I've sort of said that it negated the original idea where you could only have one reset, because it's allowed some people to have two. And they've, from that point, not said no. They've just said, we'll come back to you and your feedback's noted. Now, they might still say no, but I feel like that was the sensible way of... You've never reset a relic and got a no. Interesting. You get a one-time chance. If you say it to them literally 4 times, they send you through to a department that basically just says, okay, you can reset your relic. What do you want to do? But if you want to do it again, they then keep throwing that at you. But because of the current Ascension thing, so whether they'll do it or not, I don't know. But it wasn't necessarily a no that I got. So because of these and how you can potentially descend people who've got a relic, none of these have got a relic, but if you had the relic, it'd bring back your equipment. It took them 7 days, Scott, to respond to me. Marshall, this here. So from memory, you can set a time for doing something and whatever you want it to be to hit whatever the formation is you want to do, or you can marshal people to come to here. I think you can use it on Fellowship Fortresses as well. I've never used it, but when did you get that message, Law? Look, I get people are really into Scale, but I honestly think you have to invest a house into it to get it to work at a level that others will do. Whether that's the right idea to then invest that into LOTR when you've already got a Respect 15 LOTR, that's definitely on you, Riv, but I don't know. Yeah, have you still got warns? Yeah, I don't know why they don't respond about that either. Law, that's really interesting they said that to you, because I think a couple of people around that time had the same response. But I think if you ask again, it changes. Yeah, exactly. If you say I'd like to use my opportunity for one-time reset, they do tend to come back with that, yeah. Yeah, I know your scale's actually really nice, but I don't know. I'm using 2 monitors at the minute. Hello again, daughter. Shouldn't you be doing something with your Saturday afternoon? Remember, I hope you got your friends to like and subscribe. So we did take that 150 pretty easily. I hate to say it, but the elf has obviously helped there. And he's done 15k damage. Fair play to the elf. I mean, listen, I'm not exactly a reborn again elf lover, but he's doing alright. We'll probably need to drop another 90, I think, just to try and keep on top of stamina. So the problem here is really I could, and I probably will stop soon anyway, but I could probably stop playing for 2 or 3 hours, which I don't really know. Is that what the game wants? I don't know, but I could probably stop playing for 2 or 3 hours, build some troops, get to the next chapter, and then continue. But just try and grind it out. The problem is then I'll have too much stamina. So yeah. I don't think I've seen Whip. If I have seen Whip, I don't remember. I don't mean that in a bad way, but where are they from? Whip? Are they a country-specific fellowship, or are they? Another level for Gimli. Gimli's been doing okay. But like I say, he's not quite at a Dane or Bjorn level for me yet, but he's been doing all right. So I've really been impressed with Witch King. Going back to the scale thing, Riv. I mean, obviously I tend not to use this on her when I'm using it, but I just don't know. Am I skilling her wrong for this PVE, or I don't know. I mean, literally, I've tried using her in PvP for the last couple of seasons. Unless I'm using genuine speed gear, I can't seem to get anything above 80k out of her, and that's a respect 13. So I've got the unique, but it's only, I think it's not even 1 refine, I think, so that's not really useful. But I get the high refine thing, but is that just so you get all the damage pre-battle in each round? I would use an R4 Shadow, personally. Alright, okay. I'll change the skills and see if I can get it to do something constructive, but I don't know. I mean, it's a great relic, but I don't think... Can I get to the whole max refine thing? I never remember to. There you go. I mean, I get it. That's like a massive hit. Yeah, I've got a relic, but I've only got it at no refine, I think just 1 strengthen just to test it out. If I could get rid of it, I would. But if you're telling me that, you know, full refine, I get this works, but then I also don't think you should have a unique that's affected by not just a skill like Kingly Kin, but literally an evasion troop can cancel the whole thing. So if her unique had Keen Eye, I think she would probably be in the top 4 commanders in the game. But without having Keen Eye, you run into elves, which you're going to do more of now anyway. You're kind of not getting anywhere, are you? Can I add any more elves to my formation? Yes, is the answer. Fantastic. I don't know if I've got any 150s close to me, though. What's this? 130, 200. I've got some really nice looking 200s around me. Yeah, I mean, we could nerf Gil. I'd be happy enough to nerf Gil. Oh, yeah, we'd definitely hit that. That's just a mess of a tile. But yeah, I do think But I still think it's better if her unique actually had keen eye, to be honest. Let's research some more tiles. I think I've got a couple of really nice looking 200s around me as well, which I plan on taking later on. So I've got this here that I think's okay, which I don't think there's a great deal of damage in there. And then the other formation, there isn't a great deal of damage in there, so I'm pretty happy I'll take that quite quick. Let's not get hasty in Nerf Dane. I think this one's okay as well. So I'm feeling quite confident that once I've got through this chapter, I can start hammering 200s quite nicely. This 150 is bugging me that it still exists. Oh, it's an easy one too. Oh, I've just walked miles past that. Pin that for in a minute. I don't think Shadow needs a buff. Genuinely, I honestly now feel that Shadow is arguably the second best damage dealer in the game. And I think over time it'll be proven that way. And I've seen people take down this tile pretty easily as well. With all Crazy Cat Lady on, so you'll get to the 130. It gets a lot easier once you get to 4 commanders. I had to butcher my way through the first 130 that I did, and it was horrible. I lost pretty much a full army. I actually got talked into it by Riv while I was on stream yesterday. Jucker, don't gather from here. Go gather from one of the 200s. What's this? Again, that's a nice tile to hit. What was that? So we've got some really nice 150s around. Like I say, without Clairvoyance, I would be pretty much dead in the water, I think. It did help me progress, yes, but I do feel that it didn't do me any favours after that initial progression. How long have we done here? About an hour in, to be fair. Managed to drag an hour out of what is a very slow part of the game here. Yeah, once you've got 4, it gets a lot simpler. Depending on your respect levels and your gear, it's obviously for what I'm trying to do, it's a lot simpler at the moment. But you just have to add more troops. So if I would say using full purples with, if I was using 4 purples and 4 commanders on my first 130 and I was around about level 20, I would probably fill my damage dealers with half troops-ish. And I think you'd take it pretty comfortably and use a lot of the commander health rather than troops. Have I got enough 1 units now to do some sweeping as well? Hope so. Sweeping will help get the siege up as well eventually. I won't be using these for siege, I'll be using Gothmog, but I will do that shortly. Let's try and find a level 10 mob. There we go. Lots of emotes. I will be back in 2 minutes. The dreaded Czech world chat. Come on then, Riv. Scots, what did you send me? Gil. Lovely stuff. Very nice. World chat I'm checking, am I? What am I checking world chat for, Riv? Dog nip. Are you misbehaving in world chat, Riv? We'll leave that be. Cheers, I'll have a look at that later on, Jonas. Riv, stay away from my stone tile. In fact, you probably haven't even got enough troops to do it anyway. Memi, I agree. Gandalf the Grey's doing a great job. He's been doing... Oh, what? Do I have to go back? Come on then. Where am I going to, Riv? World chat's a dangerous place. I'll go back to this because then nothing comes up. I hope you haven't just one shot the 200, Riv. Good God, keep getting distracted by the 200. Right, so we've gathered 20k's worth of ore that we could have got more from. Never mind. The elves took the tile. Hardly lost a troop. Fair play to him. That is about as clean as it gets these days. We'll go back and take that 150 that's close to the base. Slowly creeping up the power. Let's get rid of another 90. I find it really bad that on our 30ish or 28 or whatever we're having to drop 90s because you just can't get through chapter progression fast enough. Hello. When are we on our next gather? Oh, we're 2 minutes away from another gather point. Yeah, barracks to 11 again. Like some of the buildings just take so long to do. How close am I to this now? I am one. Wood gather ideally would be nice. I don't think we've got a 230 wood anywhere, have we? What are you on? Stone. Can't remember where the 200 wood was. I could go into pins and look for the 200 wood, I guess. 200 stone, 230 ore. Oh, 200 wood's literally half the map away. Yeah, at one point I was good for free to play. My only kind of caveat to 1.0 being good for free to play was a lot of people invested in Dwalin. Oh, is it right beside the 230? I've got distracted now. Where am I? Up here. Oh, here. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I got it, mate. No worries. I'll use that in a couple of minutes. I'll just pin it for now. What was I talking about? 1.0, yeah, sorry, got distracted. I like the fact that you could use something like a Dwalin and get really good results. I like the fact that you could use a Khaldoon and get really good results. But in the same way, I almost feel like the results were too good. So it was almost too broken the other way, whereby unless you spent a fortune on getting... Like, for example, my Dane was good. It was respect 17 or something stupid, or 18 or whatever. But I had to use 3 different troop types to beat a Dwalin.
which is a tier 1 commander, and obviously the investment was a lot lower, so it's hard. You could get good results with Shagrat. I know you're a bit of an investor of time into a lot of evil different stuff, but I'm guessing with the unique though. Lurtz was OP in season 1 and 2, same as Gil was just literally untouchable, and Witch King was pretty much untouchable in season 1 and 2. But I mean, Lurtz is still pretty good now. I just think it's. I almost feel like it's. I want to say more balanced, but that's probably not the right thing to do. I feel that 2.0 basically made it so it was a more realistic result compared to spend, which I don't necessarily think is a great thing. But in the same way, if someone spent $100,000 on their account and they're being beaten by a free-to-play Dwalin, where's the incentive for them to spend the money and keep the game alive? That's probably my only kind of caveat to that, really. I could imagine you drawing and trolling people. Right. So from memory, we'd got a 150 pretty close by that was 53 seconds from drop-in. It was this one here. We will put some troops back on people. Take the 150 and then we're probably done for a while, I reckon. Mainly just because I need to wait for troops and things now. Yeah, I mean, getting beaten up by the free-to-play noob was nice, the free-to-play noob, but I can't imagine the rich guy feeling great about it. I mean, looking at the leaderboards again, this gap here to Scots, for example, even though it's only 1,300, at this stage with the kind of tiles that you're having to drop, that's quite a big gap, unless he starts hitting 200 sometime soon, which I don't think he's quite ready to do yet. This account's probably close to being able to do that. And I would suspect this is as well. And Mr. Donut, I reckon, is going to come flying through soon. Although that's definitely what looks like cheese, not donut. Just FYI. And I always like the ogre account. Inadvertently, yeah. It's about time I give him a little bit of bullying. Hopefully he's feeling better though. By saying I don't think he's quite ready yet, I know that he's saving for main hall 7. So we're going to take this tile. My plan for the next couple of hours is I'm just going to wait around. I'm going to complete the chapter, which I'm not too far away from now. By the time I've got that wood 20k-ish in, I'll be about right. That'll go up. My Elven Hall will be finished. Yeah, Z2 Faramir sounds nice. I know Ijibu really likes Faramir. I had a quick look through his kit the other day, and I'm not completely convinced, just because I think a lot of it goes around range unit damage. There is someone in the Fellowship who plays Faramir, which is Pifwi, who, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's nice, but again, you're going to run into White Council, so the incursion doesn't really help, and then there's a chance that you'll probably run into, or even evade, to be honest, and then you're going to run into probably some more White Council in round 3, so if anything, that doesn't help you by having incursion. The initiative also doesn't help you too much because you're still going to be hitting White Council. So for the first 3 rounds, attack with 2 ally formation +3, effect modified by command. Well, if you're going to build in for damage, you're not going to do that. First instance of damage triggers Keen Eye. Fair enough. Okay. Okay, that's not too bad, but you'd probably have to skill. You'd have to go into this first. Yeah, I agree. If Keen Eye was for the first 3 rounds, it wouldn't be bad. You'd have to probably skill this first. So this first instance damage triggers Keen Eye. And then hit with this. With incursion. After. for it to become useful in round 1. So I can kind of see there's something there, but I think doesn't the relic just affect pheromone formation gain initiative? I mean, if that was gaining keen eye, that'd be nice, but and damage is increased by 10%. What does that scale to? I mean, it's not the worst unique. I don't know. I kind of see something's going on. I'm not. Base damage is quite low. Worth trying out, but I'd be interested to see some reports on it. I'm not sure it'd be something that I'd be looking at doing. We got that 150. It's a bit more chunky than last time, which surprises me somewhat. Oh, it's because I didn't use the counter. That was just my own fault for being stupid. If I'd have used the counter on that, I'd have took that tile a lot easier. That was actually really stupid. Okay. On that note of stupidity, I'm pretty sure I'm done for a bit. I might be back on again later on. From a leaderboard perspective, like I say, we're still just behind. That's going to annoy me that we're just behind. I'm basically 150 behind. I mean, I probably will take another 150 just to do that, really. Still some merit on the board. Still some level 31 comms. Riv rocking the 4th place with the Undying. Go on, Riv. Right up there, to be fair to you, aren't you? And then from a fellowship perspective. Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, I'm completely with you. From a fellowship production perspective, we've gone up quite a lot. So it's looking good from a production point of view at the moment. Meow. Okay, cool. On that note, I'm going to finish there. So thanks for tuning in and coming along. And as always, in the meantime, if in doubt, always follow your nose.